Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So who do you think should replace Romelu Lukaku at Manchester United? Now we do know that Lukaku has been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan, and there has been quite a few players on our agenda who could possibly replace Romelu Lukaku at the football club. But like I said, it's very imperative that we do sell Romelu Lukaku, because like I said, he is one of the problematic players at Manchester United and all that. And I think if we do sell him, it will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition and all that. And like I said, if we can sell Pogba, if we can sell Romelu Lukaku, I do believe we can generate around at least £200 million for their departures and all that. But now I do think the club need to orchestrate on selling players before we can currently buy them again, because obviously we've got Bissaka on the board. Obviously he's our second signing this summer. Obviously we've got him in a deal worth around £50 million. Obviously we've already got Daniel James on the board for £18 million. So obviously that takes our net spend, that takes Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend to around £68 million this summer. So potentially a lot of reports were reflecting out last week, saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend. Obviously he did provide a reason why he said we've only been given £100 million to spend, allegedly, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But like I said, £100 million is nowhere near enough to address the deficiencies in the squad, and the £100 million is nowhere near enough to get the number of players that we do want to currently get in and all that. So potentially, if it is believed to be true, now we've obviously got Bissaka on the board, which is our second sign this summer and our second sign under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. We've only got around £30 million to spend on the central defender, a couple of new additions in that midfield, a right winger and a striker, and obviously £30 million is going to be nowhere near enough to currently do that. So I think the club needs to orchestrate on selling to generate funds to help rebuild the squad and all that. So I think that's also very imperative indeed. But potentially, anyway, there's been quite a few players on our agenda, who could actually replace Romelu Lukaku. Now, there has been a lot of talks about Patrick Emerick Aubameyang, currently going on quite recently, and I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see him come in. This actually, was coming out last week, from Andy Goldstein, who was a presenter of Talk Sport, and he did basically say that Manchester United are interested in Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. From my own perspective, I don't believe there's a lot of credibility in it. I think on this story, I think the media basically just speculating, they're justifying their existence. I do believe on the majority of this story, linking Aubameyang with a move to Manchester United and all that. So I don't believe Aubameyang will come to Manchester United. But actually, reports were coming out yesterday saying that reportedly Patrick Emerick Aubameyang is actually interested in making a move to Manchester United this summer. I think actually Arsenal are open to selling Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. Obviously Arsenal have got a tight budget this summer. They've got a tight budget, they've only got around 40 or 45 million pounds to spend on players. So like I said, Arsenal would be open to selling him and all that. So obviously it can help them generate funds and rebuild their squad and all that. And I do believe that Arsenal are actually in for Wilfried Zaha. So they're planning to sell Aubameyang and then obviously generate the funds from Aubameyang's departure, and then obviously spend £80 million on Wilfried Zaha and all that. But obviously Aubameyang's a really good player, like I said. Obviously he's been at Arsenal since January 2018. Obviously Arsenal got him for a club record fee, was it of around £56 million and all that. And I think since his arrival at Arsenal, I think he's made around 49 appearances in the Premier League. I think he scored around 32 Premier League goals. I think last season he scored 36 goals in he scored 22 goals, in 36 Premier League appearances last season, and obviously won the Golden Boot, and he was the joint top goal scorer alongside Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane and all that. But he has got that end product. Like I said, he's good in the air, his finishing's really good, his movement on and off the ball is good, and he's got his goal scoring pedigree is absolutely fantastic. So I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. Obviously he's 30 years of age, is Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. Obviously he's got 2 years left on his contract term and all that. But I've always liked Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang, even, during, especially, during his Borussia Dortmund days, I did like Aubameyang a lot. But according to Andy Goldstein, Manchester United are interested in him. Also, Aubameyang has been linked with move to the Chinese Super League. I think reportedly he's been offered around £300,000 a week from the Chinese Super League. But I think Arsenal are open to selling him. And it did say Manchester United are willing to pay around £70 million for his services and all that. But I think actually, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on recommend Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang in. And I do believe if he did come in, I think he would make a sort of similar impact as what Robin van Persie did. When we did get Robin van Persie from Arsenal back in 2012, because you can quite frankly say Robin van Persie won us the league back in 2013. Obviously, in Alex Ferguson's last season and all that, reflecting on the amount of goals that Robin van Persie did score. But Manchester United and Arsenal have done business in the past. Like I said, we got Sanchez back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan. Obviously, Arsenal got Welbeck from us, was it about 4 years ago now? And obviously, we got Robin van Persie from them, back in 2012. But I would love Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang at Manchester United and all that. It may happen, but in my own opinion, I don't see it currently happening. To be quite honest with you, I just think it's basically the media, justifying their existence on this. I don't think he's going to be signing a new contract with Arsenal. I probably do believe he will leave, but I just don't think he'll end up, making the move to Manchester United, because obviously I don't think Arsenal would want to actually sell her to an arch rival. But reportedly, according to from Aubameyang's perspective, he's keen on making the move to Manchester United reportedly. So I think he'd be a fantastic adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, there has been a lot of talks. There has been a lot of talks, going on about Wissam Ben Yedder from Sevilla. Now he would be another adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Now I don't really know much about Wissam Ben Yedder, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously Ben Yedder plays for Sevilla. I think his goal scoring pedigree, is supposed to be very very good and all that. Is Ben Yedder's. Obviously, he's been at Sevilla 3 years. Last season, I think he scored about 30 goals and provided 11 assists in 54 games for Sevilla last season. He's still got 2 years left on his deal with Sevilla. He is available, I think, for a reasonable figure, because I think his release clause is around £35 million. And reportedly, Manchester United are willing to trigger his £35 million release clause and all. But like I said, he's been at Sevilla 3 years. Sevilla got him from Toulouse back in 2016 for around £9 million. He is 28 years of age, so he is highly experienced. I think he is about 5'7" and all that. But he does. I think Manchester United are only willing to go in for Ben Yedder if Romelu Lukaku, of course, does leave the club and all that. But going back to Aubameyang, I think he would be fantastic. He's got that pedigree. He's got that proven pedigree as a central striker, and he can also play out wide. Can Aubameyang? You can put him on the right. You can also put him on the left. So I do think he would fit the Manchester United agenda really really well. And I think he would bring us them goals that we do need, because obviously that's something we lacked last season. Wasn't scoring enough goals. Obviously, wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal and all that. But like I said, anyway, we need to see vast improvements going on into this season, because last season was very disappointing. We finished 6th. Of course, we didn't win many silverware and all that. But anyway, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to address the deficiencies in the squad. He wants to build a squad worthy of the club's history. Obviously, he's looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad and all that. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously he wants to get us back, to being a competitive elite level football club. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously, he wants to recommend a number of young players coming that can grow, develop, and emulate in superstars. I do believe we probably are moving away from the policy, of signing them established players and all that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is planning, to build an ambitious squad. But like I currently said, going back to what I said about Ben Yedder, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Romelu Lukaku? Now, talking about Lukaku now, as I do keep saying, he's relentlessly, linked to a move to Inter Milan. Now, obviously, Lukaku's agent earlier on this week has obviously held more extensive talks, and that obviously on Tuesday, Lukaku's agent, was in Milan, and he did hold negotiations with Inter Milan, because obviously, I think Lukaku's agent is doing everything he currently can, to try and help, to try and get Lukaku's transfer to Inter Milan, fully completed. Because according to Lukaku's agent, he said Lukaku wants to leave Manchester United, and he's also said Inter Inter Milan are currently trying to sign Romelu Lukaku and all that. But obviously, the fee is problematic for Inter Milan at the moment, because obviously Inter Milan are struggling, to generate enough funds, to meet that £75 million valuation, because obviously, we want around £75 million for him. So basically, we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, because obviously we paid £75 million for him. Obviously, there were several add-ons included in the deal of £15 million, which had potentially risen it to £90 million. And obviously, Lukaku is our second most expensive signing. Obviously, he's still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on around £250,000 a week and all that. But he's been on Inter Milan's agenda, for quite some time. But I think now Inter Milan have actually, orchestrated, something out. They have now orchestrated something out now with Inter Milan. So a lot of reports were coming out yesterday. I think this was stemming from Sky in Italy. They were basically saying now that Inter Milan, do want to loan Lukaku for the next 2 seasons. And he did say Inter Milan, will pay a £9 million loan fee, to loan Lukaku out for the next 2 seasons, with then the obligation to buy for the further £54 million when the loan, of course, is completed. So obviously that amounts up to around £63 million in total. But I do believe, Manchester United, will reject this offer because I doubt, we'll wait for the next couple of seasons for the majority of the money. So I do believe, Manchester United, of course, will turn this down. But yeah, like I said, Lukaku is Antonio Conte's, number one target, as he has currently confirmed and all that. Obviously, Lukaku recently described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. Obviously, Lukaku is very, very eager, to play under Antonio Conte's guidance, because probably Lukaku believes he'll flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte, was the manager of Chelsea, at that point he wanted Romelu Lukaku, but obviously, he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But I do believe everything's been agreed, between Lukaku and Inter Milan, of course, except the fee. Obviously, Inter Milan have been negotiating with us, about coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. But I do believe Lukaku has agreed the personal terms. I think he's agreed a deal with around £180,000 a week with Inter Milan. I think it allegedly said he has agreed a 5-year deal, so he will be under contract with them until 2024. But obviously they have not yet, come to an agreement on a fee. But Lukaku's been at Manchester United 2 years. He scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. He was actually very, very exceptional. He was exceptional in his first season. Was Romelu Lukaku. He was exceptional, but didn't really replicate that form in his second season at the club, because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in, obviously Lukaku has found himself his 2 requirements, because obviously we do know that Marcus Rashford has been first choice ahead of him, and we do know that Romelu Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford and all that. Lukaku was first choice under Mourinho, but since Mourinho left, he has found himself service 2 requirements, and I think Manchester United told him a couple of weeks ago, that he can't currently leave the club and all that. But we've said, want around £75 million. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to hold more talks with Romelu Lukaku regarding his future and all that. But I do believe, Manchester United, of course, do need to get rid of him. Obviously, Inter Milan reportedly offered us Mario Icardi in exchange for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he's been on Manchester United's agenda, Mario Icardi, so I do believe he would be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku and all that. Mario Icardi is very, very good. His goal scoring pedigree is very, very good. Obviously, he's proven that in his 6-year spell he's had with Inter Milan. His stats are very, very impressive. He scored 111 goals in 188 games for Inter Milan, so that is very, very impressive. He's been there 6 years. He's Inter Milan's 9th highest top goal scorer of all time. But he enjoyed a difficult time last season with Inter Milan, because obviously Inter Milan have increasingly become frustrated with him. Obviously, Inter Milan do want to basically, get rid of him now. I think he also lost the captaincy, back in February, did Mario Icardi. But, what he's demonstrated in his 6-year period with Inter Milan, and if he did come to the Premier League, and I do believe he would replicate this in the Premier League, and I do believe he would exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. I know he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet, because obviously Mario Icardi has spent the majority of his career in Italy. Obviously, the majority of his goals have obviously come at Inter Milan and all that. Before he was at Inter Milan, obviously, he began his professional career with Sampdoria and all that. But yeah, very, very good player, 26 years of age, so obviously he's more or less the same age as Lukaku. But I have got some reservations about Mario Icardi. My reservations I've got about him is obviously some of his touches concern me. His defensive contribution concerns me and all that. But apart from that, I think he's a really, really good player. He can score goals, he can lead the lines, he's an efficient finisher and all that. So I would like to see Mario Icardi, come to Manchester United. I read the sports review, was it earlier on this week, saying that we are considering signing Mario Icardi as part of a deal which would see Lukaku go to Inter Milan. At one point, he did say, wasn't interested in recommending, Mario Icardi in him and all that. But there may have been a change of scenery now. Also, we've been offered Ivan Perisic plus cash as part of the deal for Lukaku, but again, Manchester United have turned this down because we know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. It was a long-term target under Jose Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. Is Ivan Perisic. So yeah, Manchester United. How currently turned this down and all that. So hopefully we can find a way to currently offload Romelu Lukaku. So who do you believe should replace him? We do know there's been talks of Paulo Dybala from Juventus. So I want to know in the comments below, who would you, if Lukaku was to leave, who would you get in to replace him? My top priority, probably would be Aubameyang. I know Aubameyang's aging up and all that, but his goal scoring pedigree is very, very good and all that. And he's the type of player Manchester United do need and all that. He's Patrick Emerick Aubameyang. But as you all do know, anywhere, obviously we do know that Bissaka, of course, he's going to be our second signing this summer. Obviously, our second signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and I'm very, very excited about this. It is set to be fully made official today. It's going to be made official today. I thought it would have been made official yesterday, but obviously it's going to be made official today. Obviously it's being leaked. He's obviously now in his Manchester United top and all that. I do believe I think he completed the second part of his medical yesterday. But like I said, I'm very, very excited about Bissaka coming in. Like I said, we've got him for the deal. We've got him in a deal worth around £50 million. Obviously, Manchester United have paid 45 million up front. With 5 million in add-ons, which does rise it to around £50 million. The add-ons are obviously based on the appearances and all that. But obviously, Bissaka now is our fifth most expensive signing. Obviously, the only players that are more expensive now, Bissaka, of course, is Pogba, Lukaku, Di Maria, and Fred. They're the only players that cost more than Bissaka and all that. But yeah, we've got him 45 million up front, 5 million in add-ons, got him for 50 million pounds. And like I said, he's worth 50 million pounds. Bissaka, like I said, proven in the Premier League, his stability is very, very good, his potential is really, really good, and I do believe Bissaka, can be our fullback in the next decade. And obviously, him coming to Manchester United, it's going to rejuvenate his career. It's going to take his football and career to the next level and all that, and it's going to help him with his developing process and all that. He is only 21 years of age and all that, plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. So like I said, he's agreed a long-term contract with Manchester United. He's agreed a 5-year deal with an option of an additional year. So obviously it actually is a 6-year deal in total with around £80,000 a week. So he's also got a huge pay rise on his salary, because obviously when he was at Crystal Palace, he was only on around £10,000 a week with Crystal Palace, and he was Crystal Palace's lowest paid player in their first team squad and all that. So he's got around £70,000 pay rise at Manchester United as Bissaka. But yeah, very, very excited about this, to be quite honest with you. Like I said, he is predominantly a right back, is Bissaka. Initially, when he was younger, obviously, because he graduated from Crystal Palace's youth system, he was a Crystal Palace player since the age of 11 and all that. He was an out-and-out winner, but as he was developing and all that, he got reverted as a fullback, due to his tenacity. And he only made his senior debut, in February of last year, the down Bissaka, at Crystal Palace and all that. Obviously, last season, reflecting on his impressive performances, I think he got named Crystal Palace Player of the Year, and he did have 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace and all that. But Crystal Palace, did blatantly make it clear, they wanted around 45 million up front or 50 million pounds up front, because obviously we'd been negotiating a fee with Crystal Palace at least for the last 2 to 3 weeks and all that. Obviously, we previously had 2 bids turned down for Bissaka. Obviously, the last bid we had turned down was 50 million. Obviously, it was 35 million up front we'd offered with 50 million in add-ons. Palace had turned this down because they didn't like the structure of the offer, and obviously, the first bid we had turned down for him was around £40 million and all that. But I'm very, very excited now anyway. We have currently, got the deal concluded. Obviously, there's been breakthrough in negotiations. Manchester United held more talks. I think it was on Tuesday with Crystal Palace earlier on this week. We held more talks last weekend and all that. But at last, we have now come to an agreement to get him. So anyway, Alman Bissaka, did basically inform Crystal Palace, that he does want to join Manchester United this summer. Like I said, he's predominantly a right back, so he's going to address our defensive deficiencies. And like I said, that full-back position has been a problem for Manchester United for a number of years now. And like I said, I don't think we've had a good defensive right back, since we had the likes of Gary Neville and all that. I know we had Raphael at one point, but I don't think he was that good, even though he did score a good couple of long-range goals for Manchester United and all that. But I think he'll do really, really well. Alman Bissaka, he'll be a fantastic replacement for Antonio Valencia. He'll be a fantastic upgrade to Ash Young, and he'll be also a good cover-up for Diego Dalot and all. So obviously he's going to be our first choice right back, going on into this season, Alman Bissaka. So yeah, very, very excited about it indeed, but definitely worth £50 million because we obviously, we saw Kyle Walker, go to Manchester City, for £50 million a couple of years ago from Tottenham and all that. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will now want to build on this even more and bring at least another 3 more players in to Manchester United. I was reading the Manchester Evening News the other day, and it did say we are now targeting 6 other more players now, when we have got the deal fully completed for Alman Bissaka. But obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to address the deficiencies in the squad. He's planning to build a squad worthy of the club's mystery and all that. But I do believe our expectations going on into this season probably will be to finish in the top 4. Finishing the top 4 and all that. I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, will be our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, will be that top 4 of course, because I think we're a number of years off, from mounting any kind of title challenge up. Obviously at the moment, City strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and all that. But Solskjaer is working on bringing players to Manchester United who he thinks are going to elevate Manchester United forward, and who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club and all that, because these are cultural problems at Manchester United, of course. But like I said, it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level because we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And all. Like I said, we have been a toxic club, like I said, for the last 5 or 6 years. And the main factor reason why we have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, because obviously, we've been mismanaged, and this is the main factor reason, why we have been, currently underachieving and all that. A lot of money's been invested into the club. Like I said, we've had different managers with different philosophies. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone and all that. And like I said, I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I love him a lot. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He hasn't really got the experience of a manager. That's something that does currently concern me and all that, because he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level especially. But we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because we've already sacked 3 managers since Alex Ferguson retired and all that. But like I said, regardless of who our manager is, no one is ever going to follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson for 20 odd years and all that, because it was fantastic under Fergie. Obviously, we were just fantastic team under Alex Ferguson. We're great players. We're dominating the transfer markets and all that. And obviously, we haven't been, been dominating them transfer markets, at least in the last couple of windows, at least. Like I said, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get as number 1 targets last summer and all that. But I'm hopeful, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can, currently take us forward. But like I said, the only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the moment are Daniel James and Alman Bissaka. But obviously, the rest of the squad isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, apart from Daniel James and Alman Bissaka, because obviously he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Obviously, he's inheriting players here from Van Gaal. Obviously, he's still inheriting, Matty from the David Moyes era. He's still inheriting, 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era and that. So these are obviously, lots to address in the squad. But I hope it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think the club probably need to give him at least a year or 2, to see how things work out and all that. But I probably do believe anywhere around 4 or 5 players are going to leave Manchester United this summer. So we know Valencia's leaving. We know Ander Herrera is leaving on a free transfer. I think it's looking very credit him than that Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo are going to be leaving Manchester United, and I think we can generate around 25 or 30 million pounds for their departures, because obviously Darmian and Rojo have obviously both endured difficult times at the club. I think we definitely need at least one central defender. A lot of people said we need two central defenders, because we haven't had a world-class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic, since we had the likes of Ferdinand and all that. And obviously we've got Smalling and Jones there at the moment. They're too inconsistent now. They've been too long serving players at the club. It's a bad business for Manchester United, giving Smalling and Jones new long-term contracts and all that. So maybe we do, need two central defenders. We definitely need someone to go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. Someone who could complement, Victor Lindelof in our back line. I do believe in the definitely in the Matic needs to go. He's too inconsistent. Is the Matic, too slow. Got strong reservations about him, plus his aging up and all that. Scott McTominay is too inexperienced at the moment. Fellaini left back in January, so I do believe we actually need a holding midfielder. We definitely need a replacement for Ander Herrera. Pogba goes, we're going to need a replacement for him. With Sanchez, I'm actually a bit sceptical now of Sanchez leaving Manchester United, because I think there's a possibility chance he will continue applying his trade with Manchester United this season and all that, because the club are really struggling to offload Alexis Sanchez, reflecting on his substantial wages and all that, because obviously no team basically can afford Alexis Sanchez, reflecting on his substantial wages, and his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. And I think we're doing everything we can to offload him, to help us with our wage bill and all that. And he's one of the problematic players at the club anyway. He's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. Obviously he's the highest paid player of the club, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League and all that. But Manchester United are struggling to offload Alexis Sanchez. Like I said, I think the only way we can offload is Alexis Sanchez if we come to some kind of agreement of putting him on a long season loan, or he accepts a pay cut or something like that, or Manchester United send him out on a long season loan, and of course we are like some pay him half his wages off him or something like that. But I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently. It's going to be extremely difficult indeed. But he has been here since January 2018 and all that, and he has been very inconsistent as Alexis Sanchez, very inconsistent. He hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he currently would have been. Reflecting back what he did at Arsenal, he had 4 great years of Arsenal. He even played under Pep Guardiola. Guardiola's guardians, when he was younger at Barcelona and all that. And he did really well there, but he just hasn't replicated this at Manchester United. And looking at it ultimately, Sanchez doesn't have a future at the club. He is 30. He has lost that yard of pace and all that. I think Manchester United doing everything we can, to get rid of him. He's lacked goals. He's been so inconsistent and all that. So definitely Manchester United need to get rid of him. And he's become injury prone since he's come to United, because last season, he had sustained quite a few injuries. We know he's not first choice anyway. Mainly Martial's first choice ahead of Alexis Sanchez and all that. Sanchez is versatile, and he obviously he can play in numerous positions and all that. But when we've mainly played him, we have of course put him on that left hand side. Like I did say to you, we know De Gea's staying now. Obviously we do know that Juan Mata of course is staying now. That's obviously being sorted out. But I think it's very imperative that we do get a replacement for Paul Pogba. And I'm very hopeful our third signing this summer is going to be Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon and all that, because we do know Bruno Fernandes has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Now, I think Manchester United are considered the favourites, to sign Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. We are considered now the favourites, to currently sign him and all that. Obviously, it's confirmed Manchester United have held more talks with Bruno Fernandes in agent in London earlier on this week, over obviously getting a deal concluded. Because obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say that he wants the deal finalised for Bruno Fernandes at the earliest opportunity and all that. He's obviously instructed Ed Woodward earlier on this week, to speed up the deal to sign Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, quite a few teams have inquired about his services. It's also confirmed that Liverpool have been in negotiation with Bruno Fernandes' agent over an improved offer and all that. I don't think Liverpool are prepared to pay up to £70 million for him. Obviously, it came out last week saying that Liverpool had put a bid in for him of around €45 million. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pounds sterling, but obviously this figure is going to be nowhere near enough to convince Sporting Lisbon to offload him. Obviously a lot of reports reflected out last week saying that Tottenham were interested in Bruno Fernandes. Tottenham were interested in Bruno Fernandes and all that, and that he did say they set their interest up. It also said they've been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent, because obviously Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer. They haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, the last player they signed there was Lucas Moura back in January 2018. I think also Tottenham are on the brink of getting a deal concluded for Tanguy Ndombele for around 60 million. So obviously, Man United have been in for Tanguy Ndombele, but obviously he's off the equation now. Obviously, we've been in for Adrian Rabiot. Obviously, he's off the equation now and all that. But I think Tottenham are going to get Tanguy Ndombele, and obviously Tottenham are looking for the replacement for Christian Eriksen, because obviously I think Manchester United have been in for him. I think obviously he's been linked to move to Real Madrid and all that. So obviously if Christian Eriksen goes, Tottenham obviously going to want a current replacement for him and all that. So they have been in for Bruno Fernandes, but I think actually Bruno Fernandes is keen on making the move to Manchester United. I think he actually favours a move to Manchester United over Tottenham, because obviously he thinks it would be more beneficial for his career. He also said he is attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United and Bruno Fernandes. But I heard reports this week saying we was reluctant to pay up to 60 or 70 million pounds, because obviously this is what Sporting Lisbon want, but reportedly Manchester United are reluctant to pay that, and it does say we're only willing to pay around 49 million pounds for his services. But I think Bruno Fernandes coming in, he will dramatically improve our midfield. He will rejuvenate the team. He'll bring us them goals that we do need in that midfield, because he's got his goal scoring pedigree. He's good. He'd proven that last season. He scored 31 goals, I think, in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon last season. Obviously he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of years. He's tied it up in Portugal. He hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, but I think it's very imperative that we do get this deal over the line for him. Hopefully Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Manchester United is completed by the end of the week and all that. But it would be a fantastic adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. He's only 24 years of age. He is under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around 86 million pounds. Obviously spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria and Londonese and all that. But yeah, very, very good player, like I said. So it's very imperative that we do get a deal over the line for him. Obviously, it looks as though at one point Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes, but obviously it got confirmed that Manchester City had pulled him out of the race. Manchester City, of course, are no longer in for him. And now, obviously, since City have withdrawn their interest, obviously, Liverpool have entered the race. Obviously, Tottenham that have been in there for him. But I'm still very, very convinced, he will end up, making the move to Manchester United, because obviously he's been one of our main priority targets, for quite some time now. But yeah, prolific attacking midfielder, and still got a hell of a lot of development in him. It came out a while back saying that Ed Woodward, was this about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, that I was, it said Ed Woodward was very hesitant over our move for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously, Ed Woodward may have, he has some reservations about us spending, big on players, who he doesn't think are going to step up to the mark. But Bruno Fernandes, will definitely fit the Manchester United agenda. He'll exceed expectation levels in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. So, I think we'll still get a deal over the line for him. Well, I'm hopeful we do anywhere. But Solskjaer did basically say anyway, he demands his arrival by July the 1st. Obviously, it's nearly July the 1st now. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say last month anyway, he wants the majority of our transfer business completed by July the 1st, before the players, do return for pre-season and all that. But yeah, very, very good news about Bruno Fernandes, and I do believe, he will end up, making a move to Manchester United. But like I said, there has been quite a few midfielders on our agenda. Like I said, a vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see, James Maddison, get recommended in. Now, there has been a lot of talks about him going on, because it allegedly said, he's interested in making a move to Manchester United this summer. Is James Maddison. Obviously, he's proven in the Premier League. Obviously, has had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League last season. Was his debut season in the Premier League with Leicester last season. I think he played about 36 games for Leicester last season. I think he scored about 7 goals. Provided 7 assists. He also created more chances than any other player in the Premier League last season. So his stats are very, very impressive. James Maddison's. He's only 22 years of age. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder and all that. But he did allegedly say that he wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. Obviously, Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. He signed a 5-year deal, but obviously he's got 4 years left now on his current deal as James Maddison and all that. But yeah, Manchester United are in there for him. And I think, reports were coming out about this, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago, saying that we emerged him as a priority target. He said we made initial contact and all that. And he did say if Leicester were willing to sell him, they would want around £60 million for him. But like I said, before he was at Leicester, he had a good couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich. Also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. I think he actually, began his career with Coventry, as a youngster, and quite a few teams have been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry and all that. But even if James Maddison doesn't leave Leicester this summer, obviously at some point in his career, he's going to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But I think Leicester do know how much of a central player, that James Maddison is to them and all that. But I'd love him to come to Manchester United. Like I said, he can create chances, like he demonstrated last season. He can score goals, he can provide, and that's the type of player, Manchester United, do currently need and all that. So I do believe, we are still in there for him. But he allegedly said he's interested in the move to Manchester United, but he said he's got reservations about joining the club because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season and all that. But yeah, I think he'd be good with players with Pogba. I think maybe quite a few Manchester United fans, would like Yuri Tielemans to come in as well, because there has been a lot of talks about him, currently going on. Obviously, Yuri Tielemans has had 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, had been on loan with Leicester, since January and all that, and did really, really well throughout his loan spell with Leicester. Obviously, now he has returned to Monaco, but I think Yuri Tielemans has confirmed, he will not be playing for Monaco next season. Come out quite a few weeks back saying, we had rekindled our interest in Yuri Tielemans and all that, and he did basically say, we had been in negotiations with his agent over getting a deal possibly concluded, and Yuri Tielemans is available for a reasonable figure. I think Monaco rate him at around £40 million. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022, but Leicester, of course, are keen on getting him on a permanent deal, and Leicester have actually been in talks with Monaco about this, because Leicester obviously were very impressed with his performances he showed throughout his loan spell with them, and I think it's initially in Leicester's plans to partner up Yuri Tielemans alongside James Maddison in their midfield. According to the media the other week, it did say Leicester were leading the race for his signature and all that. I think also Tottenham have been in there for him. Obviously, Manchester City have been in there for him. I think Arsenal were in for him before, and he's only 22 years of age, Yuri Tielemans, so he's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him. So I think he'd be a good replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, there's been quite a few midfielders on our agenda. But like I did say to you, I think I am very, very sceptical of, Manchester United, bringing a right winner in. We definitely don't need a right winner without a shadow of a doubt. There has been quite a few winners on our agenda. Like I said, Jadon Sancho's been on our agenda. There has been reports coming out saying that, we could rekindle our interest in Jadon Sancho, if Paul Pogba, of course, if Paul Pogba leaves the club. So obviously the club are orchestrating on, selling Paul Pogba, generating the funds of, selling Paul Pogba and then generating the funds from his departure, and then obviously putting them funds on Jadon Sancho. That came out from Forbes a couple of days ago. Obviously we've been in for the likes of Nicolas Pepe from Lille, but again I like him a lot, but I think I'm very, very sceptical of Nicolas Pepe coming to Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. So there's been quite a few winners on our agenda, but don't get me wrong, I think the likes of Jadon Sancho, Nicolas Pepe and that would be a much better solution than Gareth Bale, but I'm sceptical of Manchester United bringing the right winner in this summer. But like I said, with the Jadon Sancho story, he was our number one priority target, for a very, very long time. Obviously, it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's top priority, back in January, it was Jadon Sancho and all that. Borussia Dortmund demanded an extortionate amount, they valued him around £100 million, but at the time, Manchester United, were willing to pay him £100 million, because obviously we had the financial power, to meet that valuation and all that. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted him in because I think he likes the prospects, of linking Jadon Sancho, the likes of Martial and Rashford and all that. And obviously he's the obvious candidate for the win for Manchester United, because he is primarily a winner. He's only 19 years of age. Obviously, he's British. Obviously, he's plied his trade in Germany with Borussia Dortmund for the last couple of years and all that. But I think we are set to miss out on him anywhere this summer, because the main reason why we're set to miss out on him, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. Jadon Sancho's under contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. Obviously, I think he's confirmed himself anyway. He remains to remain loyal to Borussia Dortmund at least for another season. And I think also Borussia Dortmund have confirmed he's still in their plans and all that. But he's had experience of playing in the Premier League. Don't forget he served a couple of years out with Manchester City in their youth academy. He never broke into Manchester City's first team and all that. Because obviously the main factor reason why he departed Manchester City because he was never guaranteed first team football and all that. And obviously, this is the main factor reason, why I did leave Manchester City, like I currently said. But, Manchester United, were in for him for so long, like I said. But he won't come to Manchester United. So maybe in the future, he may come to Manchester United, like I said, because obviously he's not going to, want to spend the entirety of his playing career with Borussia Dortmund. At some point, he want to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. And I think if he came back to the Premier League, it would create a better platform for them. It would help him, develop his, it would help him with his developing process and all that. But I like Jadon Sancho a lot, and I said I like Nicolas Pepe a lot. But like I said, I'm very sceptical of Manchester United, bringing in right winner this summer. But I think it's very, very essential, that we do get a central defender. That's very, very imperative indeed. We need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof. Because last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season in 38 Premier League games. That is our highest total in 40 years. So that just proves the deficiencies, we have currently got defensively and all that. I've already given you the latest news, haven't I, about Harry Maguire. I've already given you the update on that. Now we've pulled out of the race for him based on the extortionate amount, Leicester are demanding for him. Obviously, I still think, we're in there for this Diop. We've been in there for this Diop at least in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we have actually now emerged him as a priority target and all that. But, more things will update about this Diop. But West Ham basically, don't want to sell Missy Diop. This is why they said they want at least around £60 million him and all that. He's proven in the Premier League and all that. He's Missy Diop. Obviously, last season was his first season, in the Premier League with West Ham. Played about 38 games in all competitions last season for West Ham. West Ham got him from Toulouse last summer for around £22 million. He's got 4 years left on his deal with West Ham, but only 22. I presume he's very good in the air. Is he Diop? Because I presume he must be very, very good in the air because he's 6'4". I think he's also a very, very good athlete and all that. But Issy Diop, would be a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. He would be a cheaper solution than Koulibaly from Napoli and all that. So yeah, it would be a cheaper solution. But obviously, West Ham don't want to offload him. I think he did say the other week that Issy Diop was keen on making a move to Manchester United. Obviously, we've already had around the £45 million bid turned down for him. Came out the other week saying that we'd put £45 million bid in for him. We also offered Phil Jones as part of a deal for Issy Diop, but obviously West Ham had obviously turned this down. I think I was also reading reports a couple of days ago as well saying that we've obviously we are preparing, or we have lodged another £45 million bid in, and we've also involved Bailly or Rojo as part of the deal. So it did say we'd give West Ham the choice between either Matty Darmian and Marcus Rojo, but I don't think West Ham would be willing to go along with that. It did say West Ham do want it did say last week I think West Ham wanted Anthony Martial in exchange for Issy Diop, but obviously we're doing our Manchester United and we're not going to go along with this. But yeah, we are in there now for Issy Diop, and I think he will complement Victor Lindelof in our backline, really, really well and all that. I just don't think he's worth 60 million. Some reports said, West Ham now want around 75 million. But yeah, we'll currently see what happens. So anyway, guys, that's been everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on this channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.